reason. Okay. Huh.
All right, there we go.
Yeah. It's still,
Okay.
for some reason, I don't know why.
Um,
I had a hiccup on the internet.
yeah. So you're live on. We're live on Twitch again.
Oh, we are? Did
Yeah.
it just like pick up where it left off, or?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
That's what it looks like. You're sitting in the middle of the hallway now.
great. Yes. So, all right. Well, let's, I guess, keep going and hope for the best here. Yeah. So I hit the S button, and that apparently let me search, and I found secret doors.
Yay.
So it's one of
Um.
those.
Yeah. Could you share screens with me again?
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Um, there we go.
All right. Cool.
So yeah, here we go. So got a kobold coming at us.
Got a kobold and a
Bumping up against the kobold.
what's a C?
And I died.
Oh, yay!
Died on level 1. Whoa.
Oh, I guess there's a. I guess there's a online scoreboard,
Apparently.
or maybe just one. Maybe it's just people's scores who were playing.
Yeah, I feel like this is probably more just the save
Yeah.
file of whatever, and then it just drops through the command line. Perfect.
Yeah. I love the names here. Ah, shit.
Yeah, shit.
Shit. Madness, 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 madness.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's
Let's just.
try a dwarf. Stick with female. I'm going to accept those characteristics. I'm going to go with a warrior.
Something with more health this time.
Yeah. It's clobbering time.
Mute my phone.
I don't even know where there's the down staircase here. What's...
Okay, I found that way funnier than I should have. It's up above building 1 there.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah, just don't get mugged on your way over there
Yeah.
by
I wonder if
by
there's...
yeah, by victims of of class striation in Middle Earth.
Ring of Protection. All right, let's just get real crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna offer 440. All right.
My mother you can get for 440.
Yeah.
Self your mom joke.
Yeah. I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know.
you're a little worried about your family relationships, Valeria Starshine.
Well, you know, sometimes you just. I don't think I was wearing it or wielding anything. Yeah.
That might be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably a problem. There we go. I'm gonna wield the torches when I get down to the dungeon, because 4,000 turns, that sounds like... I don't know.
No.
There we go.
This seems heavily based on Dungeons and Dragons
Yeah.
type things, which is heavily based on it's like which was at least started out. I don't know when. Shoot, D&D first edition was 70s. Second edition was mid 80s.
Yes.
Yeah, so this, at least the first version of this would have been probably somewhere around second edition D&D.
Yeah.
So kind of like the settings definitely Lord of the Rings, but I'm wondering mechanically if it's more one if it's one if it's more um, Dungeons and Dragons than it is Rogue, and for two, if Dungeons and Dragons mechanics were selected because of its roots
Yeah,
in roots in Tolkien.
yeah, and I think like one of the things that I'm not going to be talking about in this particular video because I feel like I need to devote a whole separate thing to that, which I probably will maybe over the weekend because there's a whole lot of setup for it. Is like part of what these sort of I would still call them adaptations of a sort because I don't quite get like sometimes some scholars have like just made the distinction between adaptation and illusion as like well it's not an adaptation if you're just referring to something else, which I get, but I don't it's the same thing where it's like people will say something to the effect of roguelike isn't a genre, it's just a category. It's like, okay, well that's what a genre is. Or like it's just an adjective. It's like, okay, but you're still using that to delineate other things, so like it's still being treated mostly genrely or generically. And so like I guess at a certain point this is I think the idea, like there's merit to looking at adaptation not as invocation of some other work, but possibly as adaptation as convenient content. So for example, or at the very least is like as evidence of a sort of laissez-faire, like the evidence of the fact that games are not hegemonic structures, that there's a lot like that there are a lot of different weird voices inside of them, as long as if you're fine with looking at or at least allowing for the idea that game mechanics are discourses unto themselves. And if you start looking at different programming languages as different platforms, you start winding up with when you start talking about video game adaptation, there's a lot of specificity that needs to kind of come out of the way that you're talking about what you're talking about, and I don't see that very frequently in a lot of adaptation studies. It's usually like, this thing is more interactive. I don't remember any white icky things in Tolkien's work, but
what about Metallic?
Metallic says, you don't remember that really great scene where Frodo and Sam need to fight a metallic? You know what? I bet Shelob would probably eat some metallic green centipedes. Like the idea that there's these fell beasts from time before time. Like Shelob kind of was this old spider. Oh, there we go. From Ungoliant or whatever Shelob is the spawn from.
I am not a Middle Earth historian.
That's fair. I'm picking up all kinds of stuff. I got an empty bottle, which is crazy because I don't remember ever encountering empty bottles in like NetHack, for example. All right, let's go take out this white icky thing. Oh, blubbering icky thing crawls on me. I feel very sick. This is probably not going to go well for me. I feel very sick. Oh, you level 2.
You didn't get any cure potions, did you?
No, of course I didn't.
Yeah.
I have a silver wand though. Oh.
Do you know what it does?
No. Okay, I'm not sick.
Something.
I'm not sick anymore. I'm good.
Okay, cool. That was not a very bad poison.
I like the I'm under exchange. Apply?
Oh, your mouse is all up in the frame.
Yeah, it is. I like the way that they handle inventory. I feel like NetHack does not handle inventory particularly well.
NetHack was made for programmers.
Yeah.
Like that.
I feel like a lot of roguelikes were made for programmers, though.
But NetHack in particular, like you hear in critiques of open source software a lot, especially with regards to design. It's like it's designed for programmers and the people the people creating it, not so much the people that might want to use it. And this is particularly true for at least early roguelikes. I think there's even in even open source game communities, there's more awareness
Hmm.
around interface design and or even just open source software in general. It's just like, oh, people might actually want this to be kind of usable, and
Oh,
it's still sticky, but there's more respect for user interface designers in open source communities, and um so we're getting there, but this is definitely a relic of that
yeah,
kind of aspect of the adaptation
yeah.
um,
Oh
process.
wow, I just killed a white harpy like it was not anything.
You are a warrior, and
Y-
you are poisoned very badly for a grand total of like 3 turns. So
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like you're made of pretty strong stuff.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It does have the search for secret doors, which I guess like I guess what I'm looking for here,
Mm.
if you're gonna use like Tolkien's stuff. So I'm just picking up random stuff and not really talking about it. I'm doing a very piss poor job of explaining this game. Um, but when I go up against that wall and I press S and that plus sign shows up, that means I found a secret door. Um, I should really figure out how to use stuff.
Is it A?
I hit it. I've slain it.
Uh,
What? Okay. I apparently slew something. I
Tim
hit the green.
Curry.
Yeah, maybe. I've slain the green worm mass. Thank God.
Are you blind right now?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay. Yeah, you could definitely see the
Um,
gross.
use quaff. Read.
Again, that's
Okay, real.
there's definitely hidden passageways and all that stuff in Tolkien's Moria, but it's still very much a holdover of like um, Dungeons and Dragons, where you'll walk into a room and you'll say, "Oh, I want to use my search skill to search the room,"
Yeah,
and then you'll roll a die and then add search to that, and then
yeah,
see how well you did.
yeah.
Um,
Or like in Dungeon World, every time we walk into a room, I'm playing that at work, and whenever we walk into a room, it's like, I'm going to discern realities. I too am going to discern realities. I too am going to discern realities. And the DM just kind of sits there and is like, what do you guys need to know? So, um, that scroll I just read is a scroll of summon monster, which is why there's that P there. The scruffy-looking hobbit misses you. I think I've just summoned Frodo.
You sure you didn't summon? I don't
He's
know.
a
You could have summoned
burglar,
Sam.
and he brought a pet frog. Stop touching me. There we go. You're welcome, Sauron. Kill that scruffy-looking burglar. Yeah, so like I guess what I'm looking for here is, like, for me, Moria is this place that is full of like a lot of deep, dark memories, and I think you can probably make the case for that. Like when you get deeper down, like the purpose of Moria is to great, I'm poisoned again. The purpose of like the object of the game here is to get to the bottom level of the mines and kill a Balrog.
So be Gandalf.
Basically, yeah. And what I like about it is the addition of the town, rather than in NetHack you have to like just hope for the best that you'll find
And
some kind of town.
or yeah, and there's always Minetown in NetHack, but
Yes, but
but
getting there itself is like the fact that I was
yeah.
able to buy this ring of protection is probably what's kept me alive as long as um,
Well,
as
it's also like semantically much more sensible. I mean, it's like in NetHack, it's like, why is there a store in the middle of this dungeon? I
yeah,
don't know. Some capitalist knob just decided to wander down here and start selling things to people who were getting murdered by monsters.
yeah,
Um, that's about the only thing you can figure. This, okay, there's a town outside, and then there's an entrance.
yeah.
It makes more sense.
Um, So I just found a floating eye.
Eat it.
Oops. Yeah, well, I need to
Or does that work in this one?
Oh, cool, I killed the floating... I don't think it does. But I didn't get paralyzed by it, so that's cool. Yeah, this... I mean, the monster stuff seems pretty much populated by, like, the monster manual stuff from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember any floating eyes from any of the Tolkien stuff. So I guess,
how many volumes of History of Middle Earth have you read? How many volumes? That's what I thought.
History of what? Of Middle Earth? I've not read any volumes of it, but I've been reading an awful lot about the general world, and I did reread all the novels.
Yeah, fake Tolkien nerd.
Yeah, I'm a fake Tolkien. Stop with the... There's a lot of thieves. There's a lot of... If there's one thing I will say, it has a very Hobbit-like relationship to its love of those stupid burglars from the Hobbit. Okay. Yeah, and there's a certain, if you're looking for things that kind of evoke the you were wandering around in the dark and you really don't know what's going to come after you. That's very much part of that scene, is them just this pitch black cave, just kind of stumbling around and realizing that, like, some real bad shit has gone on. And I mean, it's not, you're looking at pretty primitive graphics, it's not really evoking it that well, but it's still, like 2 levels down, and now it's dark everywhere. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that that this is kind of, in part sort of a, Lord of the Rings uses just a reference for a famous dungeon, essentially. Where it gets trickier is when you get into, like, Angband, and then you're like, why is there a town on top of, like, the Iron Pit, or whatever it is, that Melkor runs? Like, who decided to build their town there? This is the worst decision. He is literally the Dark Lord. He has corrupted the, like... Anyways.
Yeah,
but hey, it got me reading the Silmarillion, so, what do you want from me?
You want to move over to Angband?
Yeah, actually, you know what? I feel like we've covered a lot of ground with Moria. I think this actually holds up a lot better than I expected it would. But Angband really took a lot of cues from Moria, and then all right, let's end up.
I mean, again, it's like I don't know. The issues we're talking about, a lot of you, like it's not just Tolkien adaptation and all this. It's the classic, perhaps false dichotomy between narrative and play.
Right. Yeah,
so,
I think in this,
I can actually play along with you now because I didn't have Moria set up, but I did have Angband.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, okay.
I think what I like about assemblage theory is that it tries to, at least T.L. Taylor's assemblages of play, and Daniel Joseph talks a little bit about assemblages when he talks about, like, Toronto indie development. He talks about, like, the sword and sorcery people.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry.
I can't wait for